Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. And welcome to another edition of the Monday magazine slot on the Kilted channel. This is something I've just thrown together in the last couple of weeks. It's just a little catch-up sort of session. We talk about some current affairs, a bit movie stuff, obviously, and just other things which are just interesting, just to kick the week off. It's not like a look back at the previous week. It's kind of a look at what's happening around us right now, on what might be forthcoming in the next few days. So anyway, where do we start here? Well, sadly, we've got to carry on with the missing Julian Sands, British actor, A Room with a View, Arachnophobia, Warlock, Leaving Las Vegas, many, many other movies, The Killing Fields as well. Went missing on Friday the 13th of January 2023, went up to the Baldy Bowl area and Baldy Mountain in particular, a place he knows like the back of his own hand. A keen hiker, a keen adventurer, he's been all around the world, climbing to the summit of many great mountains and difficult ranges. So he's not green at doing this. He's done it all his life, he loves it. One of the big quotes from family and friends is that he's never been happier than when he's almost at the summit on a cold morning. You know, the briskness, the adventurousness, the sheer brazen one man against the wildness of it all. And sadly, now it seems to have come a cropper. Now, I've done 2 videos on this already, trying to keep up with the current sort of state of play. Because of such bad weather in this area, there's been really bad weather, snow, blizzards, and the risk of avalanche. So the ground rescue operation, the search and rescue, was hampered. They did a couple of sessions on the first weekend he went missing. So reported missing 7:30 on Friday the 13th PM by his wife. He was only out for a day. That's something I hadn't reported because I didn't really know that for a fact. I thought he may have been going overnight, so he might have had a bit more supplies with him. But no, he was due back the same day. That's why she reported him missing in the evening. He was due back then, which only makes it all the more worrying because he would not have had all the supplies that he'd need to survive. For what is now 10 days, I think we're actually in the 11th day right now. Now, I've got to be honest, that's not looking too good. I've been hopeful, been trying to, keep the flag flying and say a prayer for him, but really, where do you hole up for that amount of time with 0 supplies to last you? I don't know. It's a worrying dilemma, to be perfectly honest. So the ground searches were called off during the first weekend because of the risk of avalanche and the strong weather that was coming in. So they conducted searches by helicopter and by drone, yielding nothing. Then it came to light that his phone had been pinging, so the phone company were pinging him back, and apparently he was still on the move, or at least his phone was on the move for a good 2 days afterwards. So on the Sunday, the 15th, it was still pinging. Then it ceased to respond. Well, of course, it's died. The battery's gone. It's died. But as I said in the previous video about this, that how do we know that's actually him moving the mobile phone? Anything could have taken that phone off him. It could be just, I don't know, it could be rolling down. Sadly, I'm taking a bit of a more bleak outlook on this now. I don't want to, but I just think it's clinging to quite a forlorn hope now. But hope still lingers. What gets me is that the police, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, found his car, 6 days after he went missing? 6 days. You know where he parked his car? He parked his car at the car park at the trailhead. So the Baldy Bowl area where he was going to be hiking into. That's where, if you're going there, and his wife would have said, that's where he's going. So he'd have driven up there and parked his car there. How come it took him 6 days to find his car? I don't know. That's a bit lax as far as I'm concerned. His son, who is 31, 32, Henry, has took along a partner who is an experienced climber who knows that terrain like the back of his hand, like Julian Sands did, and they're retracing what his father's steps would have been in the hopes of finding tracks or finding him at least. And but now his two daughters from a previous marriage, sorry, from his later marriage, let's get this right, the son is from his first marriage and the two daughters are from the woman he's married to at the moment. And they've joined the search. So people are on the ground doing this, but officially no one else is. Now they're still doing helicopters and drones, and they've now got state and federal assistance. Now, in my understanding of this, that literally just means that they've got more resources to pull from. So more dog teams, more helicopters from maybe out of state and other jurisdictions. Think about America, a little tiny province has its own sheriff's department, and then they've got to get help from somebody else if they need it, but it's got to be authorized and all. And suddenly you can amass a huge army and infrastructure of people to look for someone who's gone missing, which is great. But the term clusterfuck does come to mind with Americans and a lot of their military operations, which I know from first hand. Too many chefs in the kitchen, too many Indians in the teepee. It can get completely out of hand with people not communicating properly, and just too much when it should be very streamlined and right, we're doing this, one guy in charge and then a couple of leaders, right, we're doing this, you guys go that way, you guys go that way. I'm simplifying this obviously, but in the history of American sort of clusterfucks, seen it all before. And the fact that they're not out there literally pounding the ground trying to find this guy. There's someone else gone missing as well. There's been 2 in the last 4 weeks who have died, fallen down ravines and been found, but sadly they're deceased. Now, in Julian Sands' case, there's no body found as yet, and hopefully when they do find his body, it's still breathing. That's what we hope for. But the clock is ticking, and gotta be honest now, it sounds horrible, and because I've been reporting on this as well, it's just it's sickening. I mentioned the federal agencies being brought in as well, and I've also mentioned David Paulides and the missing 411 phenomenon, which he highlighted and writes about and talks about copiously. And I've been shamelessly plugging this guy for quite a while now, it seems, and I've heard nothing back from him. No, but I do urge you to check out his channel, and he has now reported on Julian Sands going missing as well. Now, I'll be honest, he made a couple of mistakes in what he said, which I didn't really expect him to make, but I think it's because he hasn't really studied this case. It doesn't really fit the profile so far. He has only been missing for a small amount of time compared to the cases that he normally researches and investigates and then reports upon comprehensively. So I think we can allow him that. But I've been keeping up with this because it's Julian Sands, it's an actor, it's someone that we know, and it just, I don't know, I feel more involved in this one. And now I've been reporting on it myself, that I feel honour bound to keep up the fight and try to keep hopes alive. But but David Paulides has actually mentioned this now. Now, in the past, when he mentions, you talk about federal agencies, who do you think of? You think of the FBI. That's who you think of. There are others. But the FBI, as David Paulides has said, do get involved in these cases, but not in any constructive manner. They're there when all the search and rescue units are coordinating, and they're just taking notes. They might actually ask questions and interview people, but they won't take an active participatory part in the search itself. And he said, what are they doing? Why are they there? Why can't they help? What's the point of them being there if they're just monitoring, taking notes, going off and then just putting it into their big research database? Or maybe something more sinister. I don't know. But this is what the latest is, that state and federal agencies are now involved in the search for Julian Sands. But that hasn't made one bit of difference to the actual amount of people on the mountain and in the Baldy Bowl area itself. All I know of who are up there on the ground searching are Julian Sands' son and daughters and a couple of experienced climbers who are helping them. That's it. No one else is on the ground doing it. They're in the air and you've got drones, but that's it. There's still a risk of avalanche. Understandably, you don't want to put other people at risk. You know, but where's the old Dunkirk spirit? Dunkirk, the retreat, British forces on the beaches, and every vessel, fishing boat from Britain, from Blighty, sailed out there to bring these guys on board and take them back home again before the Germans overrun. You know, the Dunkirk spirit. You'd think we're going out there regardless, because every single second that we haven't got him is another second that he's not going to last. So, I don't know. Julian Sands, please come home. Jesus, it'd be a great comeback story, it would, but as it stands right now, I've really got, even now for myself, severe doubts, which is, didn't want to be saying that. I wanted to do a great big video like, oh, we got him back, we got him back. Anyway, hopefully that might still happen. Okay, right, so, well, while we're on the bad news section of things, America's had another mass shooting. Well, quelle surprise, another mass shooting. Now, it was Chinese New Year yesterday. We normally go to the Liverpool Chinatown and have a big Chinese banquet, and we look at the dragons all going on the streets and all the parades and all the firecrackers and all the fun and festivities of it. Love it. But I will say this. You've seen it once, you've seen it a million times. And folks, I have seen it seemingly a million times. So I didn't bother going this time. But Mrs. Kilt-Man did, and she went over there. Because they erected these, because it's the year of the rabbit, these statues and of big, multicoloured, you know, spectacular rabbits. And she took loads of photos of them, festooned Facebook with all these pictures, had a wonderful time. And she didn't eat though, she didn't eat. She did come back home. And of course, I was out. I had prepared the roast dinner, or was in the process of preparing a roast dinner. It was cooking, just behind over there, you know, on our ancient stove. And but I'd gone out just for, everything's prepared there, veg is all done. It's all simmering away lovely. Right, I'm just gonna nip out for a couple of bevies in the pub. Met me mate Ian, didn't I? My mate Ian, who once was a dead ringer for the actor Eric Bana, but now he's kind of changed. He's morphed into Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us, you know, The Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, Wonder Woman Part 2, 1984. Eesh. And I met him and had a few more bevies, and then suddenly realised, oh shit, I've got the roast doing, oh my god. So I had to hell for leather leg it back. And luckily I saved the day, but there could have been a huge bollocking coming Kilt-Man's way. But anyway, so another mass shooting in America. Now, and this was to do with Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year, and in, where was it? Monterey in California. A 72-year-old Asian, surnamed Tran, walked into a dance hall where a lot of Asians were having their festivities for the Chinese New Year, and he shot and killed 10 people, 5 men and 5 women, and he injured 10 others as well, who, to my knowledge, are still hospitalised. He then, apparently, he went into another dance hall, which was just opposite the Alhambra or something, and now, I've not got the full info on this side of things, but apparently he didn't kill anyone there. I don't think he even fired the shot, but he was apprehended by innocent people who fought back, and I've seen the phrase disarmed him, but he then clearly got away, and then in his white van, his name's Tran, in a white van Tran, at a police stop. It was a standoff with police, They realised he fit the bill of the guy that's just, done mass murder and then attacked another place. And SWAT teams were called in, and when he finally breached the van, he was dead. He'd killed himself. So what the hell is that about? What the hell is that about? He's 72 years old, this guy. What beef can you possibly have with innocent people? Apparently he used to be a frequent, he was always seen at this dance hall. And I think he met his wife there. I think his wife's now died, or they got divorced or something. I don't quite know that bit, but he met his wife there. And so, folks, if you've got a problem which you can't seem to surmount yourself with the help of family, friends, or some kind of care support group, or just with your own matter of factness, why do people then feel the urge, well, it's over for me, so I'm going to end it for a lot of you as well? What did he think? Well, I'll tell you what some of them do think. They lack the ability to end their own lives. Oh, this is a great topic, Kilt-Man, but this is what happens. So they do this in the hope that the police, the armed response units, will do it for them. So they'll run towards the police. They'll brandish a weapon round in the hopes that they'll be shot, because they haven't got the courage to do it themselves. But they can kill other people to bring the police in. It's horrifying, horrifying. But again, my point still stands. If you've got such an issue and you can't surmount it, do a decent thing and take yourself out. Don't take someone else out. Why hurt someone who's not done anything to you and then create a ripple effect of evil, despair, tragedy, and and bereavement? Excuse me. It's abhorrent, and it's all too common in America. All too common. Common. Okay, let's get at something better. It's Burns night. In a couple of days' time, it's Robbie Burns night. The illustrious, the famous, the immortal Robbie Burns, Scottish poet, great poet, shit farmer. He tried farming, he failed miserably, but he made his name, scribing stuff down, making things rhyme, and being historically, relevant to the changing of the times in Scotland. And he became synonymous with the haggis, of course, the haggis. Oh God, I love haggis. Can't wait. I can't wait. It's only 2 days away. Oh, and I'm already geared up for it. Haggis. For those of you who don't know what the haggis is, it's basically all the insides of a sheep, wrapped up in its own bladder. But it's been minced together with onions and with herbs and lots of spices. And it is, oh my God, it's gorgeous. There are vegetarian options to this, apparently. No, there are, because we got one last year. We got our proper full carnivores haggis, and then we got a veggie haggis for my daughter. And she didn't fucking like it anyway. So I ate that as well. You know what? It was lovely. But and you can have it with anything. You have your neeps and your tatties. That's your potatoes and your carrots all mashed together. You can have turnips as well and all that. It's wonderful. And you can have it with anything. So obviously you cook that and you chop it up and you serve it however you want it, with whatever side orders you prefer, roasties, fucking whatever you want. But the next day, what's left over, you fry it up in the pan. And I always put a bit of whiskey in there as well. I shouldn't do that. I should just drink it myself, but it adds. And you can put whatever sauces you want on it. Your brown sauce, red sauce, Worcester sauce, soy sauce works with it. Soy sauce works amazingly well with it. Anything, mustard, whatever you want. There's no rules to this, apart from one. And on Burns night, and I've done this, and it's on video. It's on the channel. Go look for it. You address the haggis. So I put my Highland finery on, the whole regalia, and the haggis comes in, and you read out the poem that he wrote for a haggis. His love for a haggis, and why it's better than anything anyone else could ever come up with, from Robbie Burns. And it goes on for a wee bit, but it's brilliant, and I can't memorise it. I can't. I've tried, but no, I've got to read it out. But I'll do it again. And I can't wait. We used to go out for Burns night. A lot of pubs and restaurants do a themed Burns night. So they'll have a piper in there, Scots piper, and because you should pipe, you know, the haggis in for when you address it. And so a lot of places do this, but all the ones that did it round here, around the Kilt-Man mansion, within, you know, a good sort of staggering distance, they've all stopped doing it. And so you've got to go further afield. But the problem with that is that A, you've got to get there, and then, well, the problem is you've got to get back from there. And it's a school night as well. And but they're charging way too much now. So now we just do it here, and it's better because I'll have plenty of this in stock. So I'm playing Jerry Goldsmith's score to Logan's Run, the great 1976 sci-fi dystopian future. Great idea, directed by Michael Anderson and based on the book written by William F. Nolan. It's where Michael York, Jenny Agutter, Farrah Fawcett, and the guy's name I always forget who plays, because Michael York's a Sandman, and like what they do is, the whole concept of the movie is that, or the story, they live in domed cities in the future. Everything's taken care of for them. They live a life of luxury. But in the book, you've got to die at 21. You will be basically cold at 21, but the population doesn't understand that. They think they're reborn in this event of carousel. They're going to be reborn. They're not. It's euthanasia, basically. They're being wiped out. It's a cult. In the film, it's 30. Is it 30 or 31? It's 30, I think it's 30, which gives them a bit more life. You know, you couldn't have a cast in a movie who were just, you know, approaching 21 sort of thing. They'd all be too bloody young, wouldn't they? But the Sandmen are the ones, they're the police. They're the ones who go after anyone that goes on the run, and who are called runners, because they've realised it's all a lie, it's a sham, you know, but believe that there is a paradise out there. There is, what's it called? Hang on. Sanctuary. I forgot what it's called. There's a myth about sanctuary outside of the dome city, where you don't have to live this sort of synthetic life, where there's actual sun and air to breathe, and plants and animals, you know, life and paradise. And in the film, Peter Ustinov as well, and a big library full of cats. But it's fantastic. So Michael York has to retire, you know, anyone who goes on the run, but he begins to start believing, why are they running? There's got to be something to this. So he will go on the run with Jenny Agutter, oh yes, and his buddy, who's I've forgotten his name in the film, and I've forgotten the actual actor's name as well, but he's great. I love him. And he goes after him, and they have to go through lots of trials and tribulations and a big odyssey and adventure before they all realise, you know, it's all been a lie. And they have these little glowing crystals in the palms of the hand, and when they begin to glow red, that means your time's up, sort of thing. So you fall for all this. But Peter Ustinov, you know, he hasn't got one of these things, and he's old and he's grey, long hair, big beard on him, dressed in robes and rags, living a wonderful life. But they take him back to the Dome City to show that, look, people can get old. You don't have to die at 30. You can get old. Look at this, and there's nothing on his hand. Come on, it's great. I know he stinks of cat piss, but hey, listen, there's life after 30. Indeed there is. I'm living proof of that myself. But Jerry Goldsmith, the great Jerry Goldsmith, right there, with his resplendent white mane of hair, tucked back into a long ponytail, the maverick, the rebel that is Jerry Goldsmith, composed the audaciously ambitious and experimental score. You've heard a lot of the first half of the score is all electronic and very strange and bizarre, with some orchestral embellishments, but it's all crazy, weird, droning noises and buzzing, effervescent sort of electronics. But when they get out into the, when they escape it all through the ice caverns, yeah, I know some of you guys who know the movie are going like, oh yeah, Box, the robot Box, voiced by, oh, I forgot his name. wonderful black actor, Shakespearean actor with a really commanding voice, and he does the voice of this crazy robot thing, which, you know, loves, you know, plankton, fish from the sea, minerals, vegetables, whatever. He's got a big mantra, but when he captures runners, they're all frozen. They're encased in the wall, cocooned, and he's got this like freeze gun. So they've got to fight this box, as it's called, to get out of there and into the real world. And the awakening scene when they go out the cave and the majestic sunrise. They've never seen the sun before. And trees, birds, oh wow. Fish, plankton from the sea. It's wonderful. But the music all becomes very orchestral from that point onwards. Because it's lush, it's warm, it's not alien and sort of synthetic. It's wonderful stuff. So I'm playing that, and to celebrate the fact I'm playing that, I've got a little Jerry Goldsmith on my shoulder. And a grouse down at me ankles. Cheers, you all. Okay, right, what else is there? Well, here you are. I'm always talking about remakes and reboots and reimaginings. I did a video just prior to this about the reimagining remake of the classic 80s horror comedy House from Sean S. Cunningham and Steve Miner. And I talked about the pros and the cons of that. And, well, anyway, go back and have a look at that video. But there's something else. And this one, oh my God, I'm like, what? Now, this is not new news, because this was touted back in the summertime, 2022. But in the last few days, it's been really sort of green lit even more. Oh, it's definitely going ahead, and we're going to start making it in the summertime. We're just getting the script sorted out. Do you know what this is? Oh, you don't? I haven't told you, have I? The Naked Gun. They're remaking The Naked Gun. Yes, Leslie Nielsen, Lieutenant Frank Drebin of Police Squad. From the Zucker boys that did Airplane and all that. The anarchic, crazy slapstick, splatstick, great one-liners, and his delivery par excellence. Dry, sardonic, but knowing he's just caused absolute fucking bedlam all around him. Wonderful. 3 great movies there came out of that, and the wonderful Police Squad TV show itself, and of course Airplane. You know, so and Leslie Nielsen then cemented himself as that incredible visual comedy, observational comedy, and verbal comedy. A genius. Started out as a serious actor, although how serious can he actually have been? He was in the film Forbidden Planet. He was the leading man in Forbidden Planet with Robbie the Robot. We've had Box the Robot, now we've got Robbie the Robot. And people say I just throw these things together. And I like that. Jazzed up musical bottles. If you watch Forbidden Planet, he's hardly serious. And there's loads of moments where he'll use his blaster and then realise, and he'll do the Frank Drebin expressions and think about what he's just done. But it's brilliant. It is tongue-in-cheek. And his delivery can be somewhat... but I think it's because you know what he became. So if you go watch Forbidden Planet now, you just see, oh, it's Frank Drebin. But he's being serious. Oh, no, he's Frank. He's Frank, yeah. Or he's the doctor from Airplane. Yeah, no. Oh, no, he's being serious again now. But it works. It works brilliantly. Of course, Leslie Nielsen has died. And such a shame as well. And now they're going to remake The Naked Gun. Who do you think they want to play Lieutenant Frank Drebin of Police Squad? Well, I can't believe I'm going to actually say this out loud. Liam Neeson. That's Liam Neeson. Liam, Taken, Michael Collins, Rob Roy, Neeson. Yeah. Renowned for his comedy and his sardonic quips and deadpan delivery. Has he done comedy before? Don't throw Love Actually back at me there, because if you look at his scenes in that, they're touching, they're not funny. He's not a comedic actor in that. You've got lots of situational comedy in Love Actually, and a lot of shit as well. But you've got Hugh Grant as the Prime Minister, dancing to the Pointer Sisters. That tickles me in places I should never be tickled. Well, except by certain fingers. But I don't. It's not a rip-roaring comedy. There's tragedy in there as well. Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson and all that stuff. You know, you got all that. But Liam Neeson, who the fuck thought Leslie Nielsen's gone? I want to redo Naked Gun. Who's next in line? I know what. How about that guy who's having a renaissance as a big fucking geriatric action hero? Let's use him. And that's what they've done. And it's written by Seth MacFarlane. So they've actually pretty much said, look, they're banging out the script right now, and we're hoping to start in summertime this year. So summertime 2023, they'll be doing Naked Gun, Liam Neeson style. Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson. There's some kind of cross-pollination there, isn't there? Leslie Neeson, Liam Nielsen. I don't know. But, you know, folks, as I always say, I hope to be proven wrong. Because although I've got severe fucking doubts about this actually working, prove me wrong. Make me sit there and laugh out loud. And I hope that is the case. Because The Naked Gun is outstanding. We watched, me and my son, it was on like, it was the triple play of all the three movies. Was on TV the other night on channel bullshit. I don't know what the channel was. We were just channel hopping, and we sort of got into like the start of Naked Gun. And then my son, who hadn't seen any Naked Gun movies before ever, hadn't even heard of them. We were on the floor laughing, pure laugh out loud guffaws and belly laughs, because that's the power of Naked Gun and Leslie Nielsen, and that kind of writing and that kind of filming and editing style works a treat. So we watched, do you want to watch the next one? I said, yeah, let's do it. So we watched Naked Gun 2.5. Then we watched Naked Gun, is it 33 1/3? With Fred Ward, the great Fred Ward is in there as well. And we had an absolute ball. And then the bloody news, well, first time I'd seen it was, they're remaking it. I thought, well, that's weird. I just watched the movies. And then I looked into it and I thought, Liam Neeson. That's Liam Neeson. Yeah. Not Leslie Nielsen. I don't know, folks. I honestly don't know. I think that's it, actually. Oh! There is something else. And sadly, we're going to go back to the shooting in California. It was the Lunar New Year, right? Lunar New Year. That's what they call it. Everyone in the Kilt-Man is going like, they've always called it a Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year. And I'm like, well, I've never heard that before. It's just been Chinese New Year. Kung Hei Fa Choi and all that. It's Chinese New Year. Where's this lunar stuff come into it? Yeah, I know it's all to do with the cycle. I know all that. But I've never heard anyone call it the Lunar New Year. Maybe that's just me. I've just chosen to ignore it. I don't know. Zoned out. But anyway, everyone's calling it, or has been calling it, the Lunar New Year. So these people who were out dancing the night away for the Lunar New Year, and then sadly this bastard got in there and wrought havoc, death and destruction. Do you know what the investigating sheriff is? His name is Sheriff Robert Luna. You couldn't write this, could you? You just couldn't write this down. Sheriff Robert Luna is investigating the Luna mass shooting. Sorry, folks. I've still got this lingering thing from the COVID I had last year, and it is your throat just goes dry. Yeah, it happens. You know, the mummy here will tell you all about that. His throat's been very dry for over 2,000 years. You know, cheers, y'all. So, folks, anyway, that's a little magazine show for you. Not a great deal else to say. I might have things to say beyond the movie and the usual stuff later in the week, because I have a huge momentous decision to make sort of right now, really. And funnily enough, but the deadline for it is Burns night, Wednesday the 25th. So a couple of days time, and it involves my career. Should I stay or should I go? I've made my mind up, but it's a big thing. It's a big step, and it's a big wide world out there. And what does Kilt-Man do? You know. Well, it remains to be seen. But you know, a change is as good as a rest. So I think I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to go. But I've still got a couple of days to really thrash it out. But I think my mind's made up. But I'll talk more about that anyway when the need arises. But anyway, folks, in the meantime, and this ever magazinic in between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. Hopefully I'll be back in a bit with something else to talk about, and you guys just take it easy and look forward to Burns night. Whatever in the world you are, you can celebrate Burns night. You haven't got a clue what it is, just Google it. But my heritage is very important, and it's also a great boozy evening. Like I need an excuse to do that, but it gives me a bit of heritage and honour, and a bit of you know honour to the bloodline, and I love it. And you don't eat haggis any other time of the year. You should do. You should. Haggis could be. You can eat it any fucking day you want. Any meat, have it for breakfast, you know, have it for supper, have it whatever you want. Make butties out of it, take them to work. I don't know. Why should it only be one night to eat haggis? If all else fails and nothing I ever say or do amounts to anything, I will do this. I will demand that haggis is eaten on more than one day of the year. So, anyway, folks, I have been always Shabby Kilt-Man. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And, I'm going to see you all. How many roads must a man walk down before he admits that he's lost?